My father's name lights up my phone. The fifth call in less than an hour. I'm Nicole, 28, living 700 miles away in Chicago, yet somehow still trapped in my family's shadow. The message this time was clear. Be at Chloe's wedding or forget about any future support. The perfect day for the golden child, my invisible role once again. But what I carried back home would turn their celebration into a reckoning. And the secret I revealed would shatter their illusion of family forever. Have you ever had to hide your success from those who should have celebrated it most? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories. In third grade, I came home clutching a report card filled with perfect A's. Nice honey, Mom murmured, not looking up from her magazine. That same night, the living room erupted in cheers for Chloe's participation ribbon from the school play. Did you see how she projected her voice? Dad beamed. She was the best one up there. By sophomore year, I won first place at the science fair for my analysis of local water quality. Principal Williams handed me a blue ribbon and smiled. Your parents must be so proud. I nodded, hollow inside, because they had chosen Chloe's soccer game instead. Senior year, my acceptance to the University of Chicago arrived. A scholarship? A dream? Mom frowned. That's so far away. Chloe might feel inferior if you go there. Dad didn't even glance up from his newspaper. We've discussed this. You're staying local. End of story. That night, I lay awake, tracing every possibility in my mind. To stay meant surrender. To leave meant deception. 2 weeks later, I boarded a bus to Chicago with 2 suitcases and a forged trail of fake paperwork. Community college registration. A dorm assignment that didn't exist. For the first time, I chose myself. But even then, I couldn't shake the sting of invisibility. Christmas after my first semester away, Chloe stood beside a brand new Volkswagen wrapped in a bow. I clutched a department store sweater, smiling tight for the camera, knowing the photo would one day hang framed in the hallway. The pattern never broke. At every stage of life, their applause belonged to Chloe. Her soccer goals, her ribbons, her boyfriends. My grades, my awards, my scholarships, all dismissed as expected. It wasn't just favoritism. It was erasure. I had been trained to shrink myself so Chloe could shine. And now, years later, I had built a life in Chicago they knew nothing about. A Chicago skyline outside my window and a diploma hidden in my closet. I was still invisible to them. I thought I had escaped, until Chloe's wedding pulled me back into their spotlight, on their terms, not mine. The gravel crunched under my rental tires as I pulled into the driveway. White roses spilled from a delivery van. Ivory fabric swayed from the porch. My childhood home was transformed into a bridal magazine spread. Mom's hug was brief, practiced. Decided to support your sister after all, she said. Her tone made it sound less like a welcome, more like a surrender. Dad didn't bother with small talk. Good. You're here, he muttered, thrusting a clipboard into my hands. Programs need folding. Guest bags assembled. Chloe wants it done by 4. Chloe herself descended the staircase, cell phone pressed to her ear. This is literally ruining everything, she snapped to the florist before offering me an air kiss that missed my cheek entirely. Thank God you're here, she gushed. The caterer is threatening to quit. Mom is useless with the seating chart. Then she was gone again, barking orders. Dinner introduced me to Elliot Brady, tall, polished, a crypto investor with a rehearsed smile. He shook my hand too firmly. Chloe says you're a computer genius in Chicago. Product analyst, I corrected. He winked. I've got friends developing an AI trading platform. We should talk shop sometime. My questions were pointed. His answers were slick. A decentralized company with partners in Dubai, Zurich, Singapore. A private network nobody could verify. Dad hung on every word, his eyes gleaming like a man promised gold. Later, in his study, I found refinancing paperwork for the house. A second mortgage signed just weeks ago, every dollar funneled into Elliot's so-called investment. Through the garden hedges, Aunt Helen whispered the confirmation. Your father won't listen, but I've seen men like him before. Too good to be true. That night in Rosie's coffee shop, the same booth where I once studied calculus, my laptop glowed with open tabs, business registries, investment forums, old social profiles. 3 names surfaced: Ethan Lewis, Edward Lambert, Elliot Lawson. Different states, different women, but the same face, the same smile. A con man who vanished days before each wedding. Bank accounts emptied, families ruined. I sipped my black coffee, its bitterness matching the bile in my throat. And with every click, I uncovered proof that Chloe's perfect fiancé was built on stolen lives and broken promises. I spread the papers across the living room table. Screenshots, bank records, police reports, even a signed statement from a woman named Karen, whose wedding never happened. My parents stared at the evidence like it was written in a foreign language. Chloe perched on the arm of a chair, her face pale beneath layers of makeup. Elliot leaned casually by the fireplace, his charm intact. "This is clearly mistaken identity," he said smoothly. "People confuse faces all the time." 3 women, 3 states, I countered. All abandoned 3 days before the ceremony. All bank accounts drained. Same pattern. Same man. Nicole. My father's voice carried that old warning tone. "This is absurd. You don't understand business at this level." Business. My laugh came out sharp. "This isn't business. It's fraud." Mom sighed dramatically. "You've always been jealous of your sister's happiness. You can't stand to see her shine." Jealous. The word cut deeper than I expected. "I left this house because I was invisible. And now I'm trying to keep you from losing everything." Chloe shot to her feet, tears spilling. "You've ruined everything. You disappear for years and then show up just to sabotage me. You can't stand that I finally found someone amazing." Elliot slipped an arm around her shoulders. "It's okay, babe," he murmured. "Some people just don't understand innovation." I looked at their faces, defensive, dismissive, deluded, and realized the truth. They didn't want to be saved. They wanted the fairy tale. So I changed tactics. "You think I don't understand business?" I pulled a leather folder from my bag, my hands steady despite the storm in my chest. "I didn't go to community college. I graduated top of my class at the University of Chicago. I've been working in data science for years. I make 6 figures. I've built a life you never even asked about." Their eyes widened, shock rippling across the room. For once, they were speechless. Chloe's voice cracked. "That's impossible." "Check my LinkedIn," I snapped. "Call my office. I've been someone else entirely while you were too busy praising the golden child." The silence pressed heavy against the walls. Then Dad folded his newspaper, his expression hard. "You've made your point. Now leave." I gathered my evidence, each page crumpling slightly under my grip. "When he disappears with everything you own," I said quietly, "remember someone tried to warn you." The front door shut behind me, the sound final, like closing the lid on a coffin. But 2 days before the wedding, the phone call came, and their perfect world collapsed. 2 days before the wedding, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 17 missed calls. Dozens of frantic texts. Even Chloe's name lit up my screen. Her words stripped of venom for the first time in years. "You were right. Please help us." The messages painted a collapse. Elliot was gone. Accounts emptied. Mom's retirement fund drained. The second mortgage money vanished. I booked a flight home, packing light this time, not with secrets but with boundaries. When I walked into the living room, the grandeur was gone. Flower arrangements were wilting, chairs stacked like abandoned promises. Mom's face was bare of makeup, etched with years that had surfaced overnight. Dad paced, phone clutched tight. He looked up with something new in his eyes, not authority, but desperation. "We thought perhaps you could help financially," he said, voice stiff. "Until we sort this out." I set my designer bag on the coffee table. "I will help," I said evenly, "but not the way you expect." Their eyes sharpened. Dad's jaw clenched. Chloe sat curled on the couch wearing one of my old t-shirts, eyes swollen from crying. "You were always so negative," she muttered. "If you'd supported me from the start." "No," I cut in. "This isn't about negativity. This is about respect. You never gave me any, and now you need me." I pulled out 3 crisp documents. My lawyer prepared these. Formal terms for my assistance. A one-time solution, not a family bailout. Dad sputtered. "This is ridiculous." "It's protection," I said. Funds go directly to the bank and creditors, not through you. And you will sign an acknowledgement that for years you consistently favored one child over the other. Mom gasped. We'd never sign something like that. Then you can explain to the bank why you can't make next month's payment. The silence was brutal. The grandfather clock ticked like a judge counting seconds. Finally, Dad reached for his reading glasses, his hands trembling. You've become hard, he whispered. I've become honest, I replied. 10 minutes later, all 3 signatures bled across the pages. Their power, once absolute, was now reduced to ink under my control. I sent a quick text to my advisor. Proceed with Plan A. When I rose to leave, Mom's tears spilled freely. Chloe wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad sat hollow, the pen still in his hand like a weapon he couldn't wield. At the door, Aunt Helen intercepted me. You'll be all right? She asked softly. I looked at the house, smaller now than I'd ever remembered. I already am, I said, and I stepped into the night. But even after saving them, I knew my life with them would never be the same again. 1 year later, the skyline outside my window is gone. I traded my Chicago apartment for a craftsman bungalow with strong bones and space to breathe. The diploma that once hid behind winter coats now hangs proudly on my wall. Bachelor of Science, University of Chicago. No longer a secret, no longer invisible. Every Wednesday, I stand before a classroom of first-generation college students, teaching them what I had to learn alone. How to spot manipulation, how to protect their finances, how to claim their worth. Dreams need protecting, I tell them, echoing my grandfather's voice, and so do you. When my first mentee, Sasha, texted me, "You saw me when no one else did." That changed everything. I cried harder than I ever did over family neglect. Because this time, the pride was mine to give. In my backyard, rows of tomatoes, peppers, and herbs thrive. Plants I pruned hard last fall now push out stronger branches. Some things grow tougher after being cut back. That's what I've become. Not bitter, but rooted. Not invisible, but fully seen. By myself first. Aunt Helen still sends updates. Chloe is working part-time at the local bank, finally in therapy. Mom and Dad wrestle with the debt Elliot left behind. They don't call me anymore, and I don't chase them. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors I choose when to open. And some doors stay shut for good. As I water the garden, the evening sun warms my shoulders. For the first time, I feel no need to look over them, waiting for applause that will never come. I built my own stage. I wrote my own script, and I'm finally living it. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family who never respected you until they needed you? Share your story in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful journeys of truth, betrayal, and resilience.